Morning. How y'all doing today? Well, my name's Tom, and well, I'm just a rambling Christian. If this is the first time you've been here, please stick around. We look at things a little different around here. Now, typically I like to ramble before I get started, so uh, we've been doing Genesis in reality, and I've really been thinking about this, and I apologize for the mix-up and all that about the 5 and 6, because I even labeled it wrong. I don't know why, but I've been thinking about this genealogy thing here. Now, I want to recap 5 just a little bit before we jump into 6. I want to go through these names again, and I don't really think I figured out who they are. And it's all just because I can back it up with the word. I tell you, this book verifies itself. If you have to look anywhere else for verification, or you can't guarantee that's truth. I tell you, this book is true. It truly verifies itself, especially when you consider it, if you use it as no lies. You know what I'm saying? You can't say this isn't what it meant. That's the key right there. You have to meditate on it and verify it with other scriptures. It doesn't contradict itself. What contradicts itself is your mind and your heart. You see, that's where the contradiction is coming from. One of you is not believing it in truth, and the other is. So you feel that's a contradiction. And you have to become one with that, and then one with truth, believing it what it says. Not trying to change it, make it all fancy and complicated and all this kind of stuff. It's easy to get out of here. Yeah, it's easy to do the will of the Father in heaven. The burden is very light. It's not hard to be a decent human being. And it's really not. What's the narrow way is the evil way. See, it's hard to be evil. That's why they call it the narrow way. It's easier to love, grant mercy and understanding to your fellow man, especially when you have eyes to see the world in which you live in. We can understand that people are getting crushed all around. So many of my generation and the generation that's previous me, the older timers, they all like, oh, then people need to get out and get a job and, quit whining about not getting, they always want more money, $20 an hour here, blah, 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 blah. You're a bunch of idiots and blind fools. When you were a kid, you could buy a house for 30, 35,000. When I was a kid, my parents could. They bought their first house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, nice backyard, California, Vallejo, California. Beautiful house on my dad's income alone. My mother didn't have to work, nothing like that. Here we are, 50 years later, and the same pay that my dad was making then are what the guys are making now, paying for what's a minimum house in America, average $400,000 something. And you're paying them $10 an hour. Yeah, I'd be mad too. Yeah, you're just kicking them in the teeth while you're posting, $1 million bonuses to your CEOs and stuff. Yeah, they're not going to work for that kind of crap. They're not blind. as their fathers were blind. Me, I thought, same way, grow up, work your job. That's slavery. Because I was on the, I was in the management level looking down on the others and seeing how they were being treated. You know, they consider labor the number one controllable. That's why they don't want to pay you nothing. That's why they want to ship work overseas that has any value because they don't think you have value. Don't think that there's not a company. I don't know, man. There's this one guy. Uh, he popped up on my thing that he paid all his employees a minimum of $70,000 to start, which is unheard of. Everybody said he was going to crash, and they're still doing good 6 years later. I think it's been 6, 7 years since he did all that. But uh, when you put an investment in employees, they stay and they are valuable. Uh, every time I left a position, I was looking for a raise. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't get one where I was at, and I have skills. I can go anywhere, and I'd go get another job. And then after I'd learned that, then I'd go get another job. And that's how I worked up to making good money. I didn't wait at a company 20 years getting a 3% raise every year, being, for the smallest minute things. Uh, and then when I finally got into management, then you stick, you know what I'm saying? And shoot for them other opportunities, transfer within companies and stuff. But until you get to a management level, you're never going to make a wage. And I'm not talking low management. I'm talking districts where I'm at. Uh, I'm not a CEO or anything like that. But, I've been district manager and regional manager and things like that. So that's where the money's at. And then those people step on them because they take away all the bonus opportunities for the manual labor part of an industry. And then they give better bonuses for those who sit at a desk in an office and don't do squat for the company that you could really just get rid of. You can't get rid of the manual labor part of a company. They're the ones that really can build a company. Uh, a dude sitting in an office builds nothing. It's an idea. You have to have somebody who can put an idea into reality. And office people, a lot of them are just dreamers. I've seen it. They send down stuff to do that's impossible. Uh, make up fictitious numbers in the office so your management can't get a bonus down on the lower levels, but to where it'll ensure that you get your bonus because you'll meet your numbers because you don't have to pay out any bonuses. And I've seen all the crookedness. There is no company. I don't care if they claim to be Christian owned. Even nonprofits pay their people higher than those they serve. Uh, and things like this, the people that stay there, a volunteer organization still has people who get paid. Uh, I don't know. It's broke. Needs to be fixed. And I'm not saying this book here. Uh, if man would have listened, it would be utopia. It truly would be. Uh, it's not hard to gain success. You have to crawl over another. I've seen it. People stab each other in the back, and women are the worst. They'll throw their sister under the bus quick. Boy, their claws out all the time at the office. And it's sad. guys, they're team players. Women are not. Maybe they do need to be in sports. Not in guy sports, but I don't think that's right. Men are just built different. Shouldn't put a woman in a man's sport or a man in a woman's sport. But, that's just genetics. Let's be real. But let's look through these names before I get off track and ramble too long. Now, let's start. Seth had Enosh. Now, Enosh was sickness. And then he lived 90 years and begot Canaan. Now, Enosh, sickness. Let's say Isaac. You know what I'm saying? Isaac. And then sickness. Isaac. Then had Canaan. Let's say that's Esau, because that's Edom. And Esau lives in the land of Canaan, and he prospered in the land of Canaan. And this is a possession to make a nest or a blacksmith. Now I said that was Yahweh. That would be the flock, those out there in the world. Now we discussed that. That Esau and Edom represent the flock, and Jacob was told to take the tainted sheep back into the flock, set free. They were forgiven. God said, "Go home. You're forgiven." But he didn't believe it. He was afraid of his brother. Now, and church is afraid of their brother. Now, after he begot Canaan, Enosh lived 815 years, had sons and daughters. And then Enosh, all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. Canaan lived 70 years and had Mahalalel. Now, mighty rising, glory of brightness, splendor of God. Could that be Isaac? And then that, after he begot Mahalalel, all the days of Canaan were 900, blah, 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 and 10 years. And then Mahalalel, Esau, Edom, lived 65 and begot Jared, descending descent. Israel, Jacob, the called sinners. Now, after he begot Jared, Mahalalel lived blah, blah, blah. But then Mahalalel, Jared lived 100 and then got Enosh. Dedicated, trained, and disciplined. Now we discussed, I think that's Moses. Now, Moses was also Muhammad. But I want to go to a thought on Moses. We cover where Israel rejected Moses' spirit because of what he said. And I thought perhaps Aaron was Legion. But Aaron is a nation. The swine represent a nation. Moses had disobedient Israelites, the forefathers, right? They rejected Moses' spirit. So say Moses was the dude with Legion in him. And when Jesus cast the demons, the fallen angels, Israel, into the swine, and they drowned in holy water, they perished. Uh, I'm, I'm not so sure that's not the rejecting of Moses' spirit right there with Legion. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't, and then they were gathered to Aaron, which would be the tainted sheep. So that would be Jacob for, huh? Now I said every fifth. Uh, uh, I'm wondering if DNA replicate every fifth generation too. I'm trying to put what I see to you'll be cursed till the third and fourth generation. On that fifth generation, maybe you're kind of sleeping through there, and then on that fifth generation you rise again. But listen, okay, Enoch, that's one, right? Lived 65 and begot Mahalalel. Methuselah. Now, one who was sent, man of the dark. After Aaron came one who was sent. Is this David or hold on. I think Methuselah, that was Jesus. Because he slayed 900,000 demons, and legion was many. Threw them into the swine, and the swine drowned and perished. And called, that we know that the body of Christ will be sacrificed. So, and it says few. You were few. 900,000 in 2.5 billion is quite a difference. You know what I'm saying? But and then so and then Methuselah and oh, Melchizedek. Methuselah, Melchizedek. And the reason why I choose this is because Melchizedek blessed Abraham. Jesus said salvation is of the Jews. That's a blessing. And he also said he, bless Abraham. So, I'm trying to use the whole book, not just one verse. It should be all here. It says this is the book of the genealogy of Adam. And I tell you, we're the same. Your spirit never dies. You just get a new name and a new position. You know what I'm saying? Dependent upon your growth. Until you can get out. And it's a walk. It's not a run. Well, it gets, but you got to be moving forward. Please move forward. Seek, and you will find. And then it says, so all the days of Enoch were 900, and he walked with God. Methuselah lived 185 and then begot Lamech. Now, if Methuselah was Jesus, say Lamech, powerful. Could this be Lamech begets Noah? And I think Noah is Jacob back as Israel. Israel is gathered. They're the ones in the ark because they can't leave. You know what I'm saying? And Noah represents rest. And I tell you that Noah was in Jesus, just as you are now. The souls are saved. But he went with all of the ones with the dead, spoke to all the dead. Only 8 souls were saved, though. It says Enoch walked with God. Like I said, Muhammad, Moses. Let's see. And Lamech, first time Abraham. Because if, like I said, Jesus blessed Abraham, Lamech, powerful. You know, that would be Melchizedek, and that was his previous for Methuselah, Melchizedek. Because Melchizedek never, he lived a long time too. And he was here when Noah got here. So, and then after he begot Lamech, Methuselah had sons and daughters, blah, blah, blah. And then Lamech lived 182 and had a son. Now, Noah means rest and repose, an ark. Or, you know, he created an ark and he had to go into the ark. Jacob had the tainted sheep, but Noah has them all. Noah has them all. Could this be Isaac's first, and then Noah now, and then, because he had the 12 tribes, right? He had both Esau and the 12 tribes, and Jacob. Rest and repose, and he had both sides, even the creepy things. So, you know, Abraham was separated out, and then Isaac had both sides. Every 5th generation, I think, is almost like a repeat of the calling. I think they go back. We went through what Jacob said about the 12 tribes, and it wasn't really a good thing. They're committed to disobedience. You know, that's what it says. Israel is committed to disobedience. We have to believe that in truth. You know, and it says, I know who I call. So this has been an ongoing thing. You know, and I tell you, those haven't been judged yet. That's kind of like purgatory. When they seek to leave is when they start to get that judgments. But until, you know, yes, I know there's murderers, there's blah, 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 and all that out there. But they're still sin free because it says in here, God leaves them as a test to your soul, your spirit. You know, what you do in them situations is what you're judged on. You know, are you cursing them? Are you recognizing their pain and suffering? Or are you just blanket washing, like I said, you know, get a job? You know, that take it to truth. It is a test for your spirit. Yeah, I'm not saying there isn't, you know, good, bad, or indifferent out there. There's a lot of good out there, though. And, just because the bad is in front of your face all the time, that's what they want you to think. Inherently, though, most people have a lot of love for another. You know what I'm saying? And don't believe the news, in front of your face like that all the time. Because if it's not bad news, it's not headlines. Good news doesn't really make headlines. It doesn't. Better news would be, I know there's people who are taking groceries to others every day of their life, and nobody even knows it. There's people that do that stuff. I know a lot of people that suffer themselves to help another, and nobody talks about them. But there are people like that, and there's a lot of them out there. And it says, he who loses his life for another. That's what they're doing. With love, many sins are covered. If you're all love for your fellow man, shoot, there ain't nothing you can do. If you're out there trying to help somebody and stuff, that's what matters. Trying to pick up those fallen, not trying to make me look good. None of that. It doesn't matter. I don't have to go out there and beat them over the head and tell them about my God at all. I just have to help them get up. You don't do it for a reward. You do it just because it's the right thing to do. People, you always get somebody, that dude who saved a couple of guys, and they're like, oh, you're such a hero. And he goes, anybody would have done it. See, no. Most nowadays, people will whip out a phone and film you drowning before they would jump in for you. So no, not everybody would do it. And they do it because it's the right thing to do. That's why they say, well, anybody would do it. That's because that's the way they feel inside. The words come out your mouth. They feel their fellow man is worth saving. That's what that says. It could have been anybody in there. His fellow man is worth saving. And Christians would, God will sort it out. That those people are drowning in the world out there, being crushed, and you're just throwing more fire on the flame, more stoking it. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. But so, and Noah, I believe, was released at the piercing of Jesus' side. I believe Jesus was the ark back there, and then it went into Noah having his sons. Now Noah's sons: Shem, Abraham, Ham, Islam, and Japheth, Christianity. That's when it was divided, and the Tower of Babel fell. When they all spoke one language, and then this is the splitting of the language. But I tell you, all of them have truth, but they're spiritual books. They're not books of the flesh at all. That's the splitting of it. Noah also split that bread. And we're going to cover today, heck yeah, man, I got time. We're going to do this chapter 6. And Well, I think it's in chapter 7. Yeah. But I want to talk about this raven and waiting 7 days and blah, 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 blah. But I just want to go over that because that's been bothering me. And I think about it. I can't get past it until I just think about it. And but that's what got me when I was reading it. It was like, well, this dude should be this guy, and it is a repeat, and that's why we should use the definitions of the names. These are generations, not individuals, and they're the spirits over. They're the heritage that they got. This is what Jesus turned down. That part of it, the spiritual part of it. Having to be stuck here. I tell you, there's none righteous in this book. This law stands for an eternity. And until we can bring that law to our heart, we're stuck here. And that's for all. And some have that law in their heart out there. They have not eaten from this apple, this tree. And we have, Christians have. If you haven't, the Father, I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever made it without it. I can't say that because I made it with it. It says you're a law to yourself. But from what I tell, you just come and go. You don't really leave until you seek a spiritual escape, not a fleshly escape. Convictions. See, and another reason why I picked 5 generations, it repeats. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, the flock. And then one is a spirit. But I think you're a spirit before the flock. You know what I'm saying? I think after Islam, you're a spirit, and then you come back as a flock. And then you get a chance to come back. You're supposed to learn your lesson. Man, I don't want to be in charge. See, God gives you what you want to prove you wrong. You don't want to be in charge. You don't. Let God handle it. That's Christian Jews. What would Jesus do? Well, I'll tell you what he'd do. The Father's will. Let him handle it. It's his business. He's been doing it a lot longer than you. And pretty good at it. So this is, you say it all the time, just give it to the Father. Well, quit opening up your mouth and trying to condemn man to hell for an eternity, and maybe you could listen. You can't hear with your mouth running. Just saying. I mean, that's a proven fact. But let's look at Genesis 6 before it gets too long here. I want to get on this. You see, that's hard to believe, isn't it? That it's the same dude all the time. And this is just a repeat. And I think it's when they have sons and daughters is when they're going through the churches. You know what I'm saying? The religions. That's where you create sons and daughters through, calling down in Jesus' name or, some hogwash like that instead of standing on your own 2 feet, Christians are good at praying for stuff. I always thought my Father would give me whatever I wanted, but I had to make the step that way. I didn't think it would come on a silver platter. I felt that, anything that you wanted in life, you had to put in an effort. I didn't just, I don't know, man. I said, let's 5 things, man. 5 things. And I've named them here that I've asked for in my life. And I know God gives you everything you asked for because I got it. I got it. Bam, I'm good. It is truth. It is. But it's up to us to seek. And if you want to eat, you better eat well, because knowledge is the key. But, it's like Jesus said about John the Baptist. Hold on just a second. All right, let's look at this. It says, this is Matthew 11:11. Surely I say to you, among those born of women, there has not risen one greater than John the Baptist, but he who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Now, least in heaven, he is the least in heaven. Now, is this Lamech, John the Baptist, says, has not risen one greater than John the Baptist? Is Lamech powerful? Elijah, powerful. Elisha, though, double the reward. But I'm just going through some. Now, it says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violence take it by force. That's Christians, If you don't do it their way, I'm going to kill you all. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if you are willing to receive it, he is Elijah who is to come. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. It's just like I tell you, I'm Jeremiah. That is daggum Elijah. And I think Jesus, the double portion, was Elisha. See, every fifth generation type thing. A repeat of that spirit. I was the dude that needed to be healed at the pool. Jesus healed me. See, I tell you this. Jesus is righteous. 100%. He never lied to us. But he does keep you away from the Father until you do the Father's will. It says that. And, with him being the door, when he says, get behind me, that means he's not letting you through the door. Just saying. And he tells you this. And even in the Old Testament, it tells you that God raises the dead. God raises the dead, not Jesus. Jesus was given that power by the Father. He asks in the Father's name. Does he not? He prays to the Father. Father, please raise Lazarus. That's what he's saying. He's not saying I'm doing it. He never said that. He was given that. And he even tells you that you could move mountains with the faith of a mustard seed. That's sad. Right there, though. Lamech, Elijah, John the Baptist. This is the repeats. And that's for this generation. That's us here. You know what I'm saying? We have to hallow the Lord of this world. And it's not through some blind worship. It's through a love of a fellow man. That's where you show the Spirit kindness. is through the people they're with. Yahweh is out there in the world, suffering, crying out from the earth. His blood cries out from the earth. Tell me those people are not crying out. Oh, wow. You know, I just thought about this. It says, those not called are a law to themselves. And I tell you, they're a law to themselves. But it's a spiritual call. The Spirit is called. So the flesh is sin free that they have. It is the Spirit inside that the law is good for. You can't put new wine into an old wineskin because the law is for them inside, not the flesh, the new flesh on the outside. You know what I'm saying? There is a duplicity to it. And what is not yours will be taken, is that's when your flesh rejects you for being an evil fool. And they just go out into the flock and become one of the birds of the air until another Israelite fallen angel comes to that generation. They reject you until you change, till you circumcise your heart, your evil heart, the spiritual heart, not the fleshly one that loves, has love, mercy, and understanding. The spiritual one that thinks that you can control everybody and condemn man to hell. See, that's why I say there's a duplicity to it. I'm speaking to the spirits that are inside. They're the ones that are in deep doo-doo. Just saying. Now, I really want to hit on this chapter 6. I don't want this just to be a chapter 5 recap, but I thought we ought to go over that again because, I've been thinking about it. And those are your chances. Like I say, you can have this world. You truly can, just like Jesus was offered it. You're being offered it right here, and you're sucking it up with a silver spoon. You're just drinking that wine down and thinking it's a blessing. These people are not blessed. That's why the prophets come to the churches. And Jesus spoke against the religion, not against the people at all. You know what I'm saying? And more than once we have proved Jesus true. He has nothing but truth. Let's see if I can get through this. Kind of don't want to be too long, but we'll see. It says, this is chapter 6. Now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them. Men are the spirits, right? Adam is man, the spirit that never touched the ground. And the daughters are religions. Is not Christianity the bride? Okay. So daughters are the religions. Okay. And daughters were born to them, that the sons of God, the fallen angels, Israel, those called, saw the daughters of men, the religions of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. This is what I'm speaking of. This is all the religions that we have had come from these same fallen angels right here. They have a touch of the truth because it has to contain truth. It has to be truth right in front of your face. It's free will. You have to deny it inside. It is truth 100%. Okay? I believe even the Quran says Jesus is right. They are committed to disobedience. They are all that, you know. But it's not in the way everybody looks at it, because they deny it within themselves. That's part of the thing, is you have to accept truth, pull the plank from your eye, nobody else's. You know, according to Jesus, they just got a little speck of dust in theirs, and you've got a whole plank in yours. So everybody you meet has just a speck to your plank. That's for those called. And the Lord said, my spirit will not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, and yet his days shall be 120 years. A 120 years. How long do you stay? Now we know he'll raise you in 1,000-year day. We know that. And, you know, there's some waiting time for your body to go back. Could it be 1,200, 120 days, 120 years? And it says, there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. This is the gods. When they went in, like I tell you, church calls down spirits in Jesus' name. When they went in to the giants, religions, those are the giants among the earth, not some 40-foot dude. Religions are the giants. It's a reality. Okay? They went into those religions and had sons and daughters of their own, the different denominations. You see it. There's 48,000 different Christian denominations alone on the planet, let alone all the denominations of Islam, Judaism, and mythology. There's still so many different gods here. These are all those right here. Okay? Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. Your spirit, evil, wicked, in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of the heart, of his heart, was only evil continually. Everyone on the whole planet. Whoa. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. It broke, man. It broke. Truly did. So the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creepy things, and birds of the air, for I am sorry. I am sorry that I have made them. How disappointing we are, huh? That's sad. Now, it says here, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Found grace. Found it. Right? found it. Seek, and ye shall find. Noah found grace. Huh. Particular word, huh? That's, let's see if it mentions it down there. Nope. So, and then it says, this is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generation. Noah walked with God. Period. Noah walked with God. So, Noah, rest, repose, Jacob, over the tainted sheep. But I'm just going back. But Canaan to make a nest, an ark. Esau made one too. But Noah has both. Again, Isaac, none greater than John the Baptist, Elijah, So, John the Baptist cut the head off of him. Blindness. Cursed. Isaac. Judaism. Jacob, Christianity. Esau, the world. Right. Abraham sacrificed his son, the Lamb of God, to save Abraham, Lamech, John the Baptist sacrificed his son to sacrifice the lamb. Abraham came out of the side of Jesus when Noah would represent Abraham, not Isaac, had both sides in him. Isaac gave birth to both sides. So, yeah. Noah was told to build an ark, and he put everything in the ark. Was Noah Jesus? Because it says Noah walked with God, Jesus walked with God. And Noah's wife would be his spirit, spiritual wife. Then that would be 7 out of the 8. Jesus went away, but left the 7, perhaps. The 7 souls saved. And then it says, and Noah begot 3 sons. We already covered that. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Filled with violence. The earth was filled with violence. Is that not happening? Both sides. Both sides. Both sides. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt. And for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. Corrupted their way. Now this is kind of ownership right here. For all flesh had corrupted their way. I tell you, the spirit is called to the law. The flesh is not. And if the flesh is taken over by the spirit with that, I don't have to follow the law stuff. The spirit gets that. I start to become that selfishness, man. It stems and it branches out into I'll take what I want. Now I'm gonna hold off here. I'm gonna get this and then we'll start on 14 tomorrow. I don't want to go too long. Well, no, I might be able to do it. Here, hold on. And God said to Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth, with the flesh. I will destroy them with the flesh. I keep alluding to this, which I find it is the egg in the womb that chooses the sperm. It's not the first there. She lets whatever in, which one she wants in. Some will never rise again. But I'm going to call it there. And we'll hit the rest of this tomorrow because I still want to think about that. I'm going to have to recap on this anyway. So we'll just call this a 5 recap. But may the Holy Spirit guide you. May God, the Father, the creator of us all, protect your soul. My wife changed her mind. I thought she was going to get up, have coffee. I can't drink coffee no more, though. But I thought she was going to get up with me this morning. Hold on. So let me go ahead and finish this up here. Anyway, it says, make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and outside with pitch. Gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and outside with pitch. This is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits in width, 50 cubits at its height, width 50 cubits at its height, 30 cubits. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. In its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. The hedge, right? Is that as big as the earth is? Just right there, just that. Is that our space that we have? Just that big? And we just little bitty, the worm. How big is a worm? Where's the worm? The worm will not die. Huh. But anyway, so 3 decks, 30 cubits, 9 cubits from the floor would be the window. 9 cubits. I mean, and you don't make a ladder. You don't make a, how tall was Noah? But, he had to be at least 9 cubits tall to be able to see out the window. But I'm just saying, and a foot above his head, that's like our ceilings. They're a foot above our head, right? A foot and a half, 2 foot, if you're 6 foot something, they're 2 foot above your head. So, say, pretty close, right? I use that argument. I had people get up and walk out on me that when I just pointed that out. Just think about that. Who builds a window that they can't look out? Usually they're, right at eye level in there. And it says, he's standing there throwing birds out. He's not going to want something he has to climb a ladder, go up and get, and all that. Probably maybe even have something he can set a chair at and look out the window, for all I know. And it says, but that's the pit, the queen's chamber, and the king's chamber. And behold, I myself am bringing floodwaters on the earth to destroy from under the heaven all flesh, in which is beneath it, which is the breath of life. My bad. Everything that is on the earth shall die. Now, I tell you, Noah was a nation. These are the people these are the few. Many are called, few chosen. Let's say Noah had the chosen, right? And both good, bad, and indifferent. God has mercy upon whom he wants. It says that. I believe that. That's why I say they're a lot of themselves. God's going to judge that. I don't know their story. I know that Christians are called for their disobedience. It says that. Now it says, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall go into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. There's 4 wins. There would be 4 different players in the game. Jesus commanded those inside of Aaron. Jesus was Aaron's son, perhaps. And then Elijah, John the Baptist, Elisha, Jesus. Double the portion. Islam and Christianity, double. Or Catholicism and Cain's, Catholicism and Protestant. Double the portion. 900,000 would be 1.8 million. Double the portion. I don't know. And then it says, and of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Eat of any tree and be filled. You can eat of any tree of the garden. And Jesus told Peter 3 times, you have told me to be filled. And Peter didn't understand what that meant. Of the birds after their kind, of animals after their kind, and of every creepy thing of the earth after its kind. 2 of every kind will come to you to keep them alive. The spirits. I tell you, Jesus was all sin. He wasn't sin free. You can't defeat something if you've never tried it or done it. Truth. You can't defeat something. You can't say, well, I defeated the spirit of addiction because I've never tried anything. So you never beat anything. You never tried it. So, it's like saying I don't like Mexican food and never have eaten it. So, and that's how you gather. You have to do. And it says he'll bring them to you. And you just shun all them away. And you shall take for yourself of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. I have food in which you do not know. Thus Noah did according to all that God commanded him. So he did. Only those who do the will of the Father in heaven shall ever see it. That was the end of 6. It wasn't even that long. Sorry about that quick break in. But, think about it more than just in passing. We're to meditate upon these words. And it says verify all things. It says we come back. It says, I will raise you. And it says we would have died before and brought us back. So you've got to be in here, uh, the truly called, and things like that. This has to be truth. I see multiple of mine. There should be multiple of you. It is written. May the Holy Spirit guide you. May God, the Father, the Creator of us all, protect your soul.